Be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful. Do the opposite of what the masses are doing. Buy when nobody talks about Bitcoin, sell when everybody gets hyped. But does that always work? Let's have a look at some on-chain metrics. Let's look at some metrics that we can only derive on the blockchain, data we couldn't see for the traditional markets, so we can see what are long-term holders doing, what are short-term holders doing, and what kind of patterns do we see across the cycles. Let's start off with the Bitcoin long-term holder supply. So how much of all of Bitcoin is in long-term holders' hands? The price is in black and the number of Bitcoin that's been held by long-term holders is in blue, which refers here to the right scale. We actually saw a peak at the end of last year. Long-term holders tend to be distributing now into this rally. And this is continuing with the grayscale Bitcoin Trust redemptions, right? With the Bitcoin ETF approval. Have a look at this. This is the unspent realized price distribution. So on the x-axis, we've got the price of Bitcoin. And on the y-axis, we've got the number of Bitcoin at that price when the Bitcoin had moved the last time. And on top of that, we've also got a distinction between long-term and short-term holders, long-term in blue, short-term holders in red. And see how at the current price, pretty much all of the short-term holders are now in profit and only a few long-term holders are in losses, right? Only a few long-term holders purchased their Bitcoin above the current price. Now, this could be potentially a danger, right? Short-term holders hold short-term. When they are currently in profit, they might be taking profit. On the other hand, Bitcoin tends to move in massive trends. And once a trend is really established, it tends to continue. And so let's have a look at this distribution over time. That's this chart over here. So again, in the background, we've got the Bitcoin price, which gets overlapped by the supply in profit graph. This is a very long-term chart since Bitcoin was just a few cents. And when there is no red area whatsoever, it means that all short-term holders are in profit. And this does not necessarily mean that the price has to turn around, right? The price can continue to rise for a while if momentum is strong enough. On the other hand, at the beginning of 2021, when all of the short-term holders were in profit, right now, not all of them are in profit, right? Just the majority. But in 2021, all of them were in profit. At that point, we saw a massive rotation. So let's keep that in mind, beginning of 2021, and have a look at this. This is Bitcoin dominance. And at the beginning of 2021, Bitcoin dominance was very, very high at 70%. And it then subsequently crashed to around 40%. Now, the Bitcoin price itself did not crash. It simply went sideways. So what really happened here is that the people that made money in the 2020 bull run of Bitcoin, they rotated their money to the altcoins. They moved their profit, at least partially, from Bitcoin to the altcoins, so the altcoins could really excel. And so maybe we will be seeing something similar, not so distant in the future, right? Maybe once all of the short-term holders are in profit, we will see even more gains in the altcoins. Here's the percent of supply in loss that is held by the long-term holders. This, of course, is still higher because some people bought at 60 and at 65K. And this indicates to a degree that maybe we could see further rising prices and that the market only is going to be really heated once all of the long-term holders are in profit. This video is sponsored by the premium membership. I never take any money from any crypto project. I never take any affiliate links from centralized exchanges. I never pump and dump coins. Instead, I offer valuable tutorials in the premium membership. Feel free to check it out. Now, I like to look at things holistically. I like to check out what is the average price of all of holders of Bitcoin. Because when all holders of Bitcoin are in the losses, then the selling pressure tends to diminish. When a lot of people are in profit, then some people take profit. And so it's more dangerous to hold the asset when people are in profit. It's less dangerous to hold the asset when most people are in losses. Let's check out the chart behind me. This is Bitcoin's realized price. This is the average price at which Bitcoins have moved in the past. When the current price is above the realized price, the market is in profit. When the current price is below the realized price, that's when the market is in losses. Let's have a look at the last few years. We had phenomenal buying opportunities in the summer of 2022 after the Terra Luna collapse and the FTX implosion. Currently, the market as a whole is roughly 150% in profit. The realized price or the cost basis of the market is roughly 23,000. The actual recent price is 50,000. There is a bit of an advanced metric that looks at this in a bit more detail. So that's the market value to realized value Z-score. So now we take the profit that the market in aggregate has and we take it in relation to the current volatility. And this is simply a tool to potentially plot certain tops. And this tells us, since we are not spiking up very fast, since we are rising still comparatively slowly, that we are probably still quite far from the top. However, we can still see quite significant retracements even in a bull market. What we see over here is the value days destroyed. So we see what are long-term holders doing. Are long-term holders currently selling? And this did peak to a similar degree to what we have seen in June of 2019. Now here's June of 2019. And even though we were in the grand scheme of things in a bull market, right, we went up all the way to almost 70K. We had a roughly 70% correction in here. This was the Corona crash. We didn't see entirely new lows, but we did see a massive correction. And so we don't have to necessarily spike up all the way to a red marker to see a correction. If we just take this randomly drawn line, there's no logarithmic regression or anything like this. If we just take this floor on this long-term Bitcoin chart and we are playing with the thought of maybe getting another Corona crash, then the bottom here is at minus 48% or 26,000. Still above the current realized price. I don't have a crystal ball either. I don't know where the Bitcoin price is going. I'm simply trying to weigh risk versus reward. And so far, it appears to me we are still in a bullish trend. However, if we were to see a significant correction, maybe to 30K, maybe even to 25K, you need to be set up correctly to take advantage of those bottoms. So I'm always trying to stay diversified, either by having some cash on the side or by owning some stock that I can then reshuffle just in case Bitcoin does see a crash. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. There's also free Telegram. Link is down below.